Next on Worcester News tonight, back in court, the latest twist in Kevin Mensah's case as the high school athlete battles for the right to play football this season. Plus, creepy clowns scaring people across central Massachusetts while a local entertainer took the word clown out of his name. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. A trend terrifying the nation is now making its way to central Massachusetts. Creepy clowns are showing up in pictures on social media and now even in Worcester. There were reports of an armed clown seen Wednesday afternoon in Washington Heights. Worcester police say the report is believed to be a hoax, and police across central Massachusetts are discouraging people from engaging in this creepy clown activity. Our Brittany Schaefer spoke to a local man in the entertainment business who says the fear made him drop the name clown from his title.
I don't know what I would have done if I had to depend on being a clown when the fear came.
Larry Redegg was once known as Flippo the Juggling Clown, but he's had to change his name and stop wearing his makeup after customers kept telling him it caused fear.
That's different. They're calling a clown, asking him to leave off his makeup. Wow. So I made a new website, Flippo the Juggling Magician.
Redegg says he is surprised by the fear and this new trend of clowns causing terror in parts of the country.
I grew up with clowns being happy, happy, happy fun.
Social media has a tendency now to be able to send things out virally and have people get into a panic mode about a lot of these things. The unfortunate thing from the police standpoint is we have to take all these things seriously.
There have been multiple calls on clown sightings in central Massachusetts, including Dudley.
One of our local schools, some people reported seeing it, and then we looked into it. One of them was a woman out walking her dog, and another one was unfound.
Dudley Police Chief Stephen Waiter says with Halloween in a few weeks, he expects to see more clowns, and his department will pursue all calls.
If people want to do things and just under the guise of a clown and it's a joke, it's going to be taken a little more seriously now.
The owner of Hot Costumes in Webster says he sells dozens of clown costumes and says the recent criminal activity is not in the spirit of Halloween.
Some of them are creepy, some of them are amazing, and that's not what Halloween's about. Halloween's about having a good time, having fun.
Redegg says he's had to adjust with the times, but he says he's not happy clowns are getting a bad rap.
But why they would dress up like a clown and not Mickey Mouse, I don't know.
And that was our Brittany Schaefer reporting. A high school football star is still awaiting his future on the field. Shepherd Hill football player Kevin Mensah appearing again today in Worcester Superior Court for another hearing on his eligibility to play for the school's football team. Mensah's lawyers are seeking an injunction to allow him to play for the rest of the season. The MIAA argues Mensah should not play because of the reason behind his transfer from Holy Name to Shepherd Hill. Mensah's lawyer says he transferred because he couldn't afford tuition at Holy Name and he likes the business classes offered at Shepherd Hill. Meanwhile, the MIAA says Mensah transferred to play sports and shouldn't be able to play because he may be taking another student's spot. Mensah says he hopes he can complete the season with his team.
But even though, we lost last week, apparently they're still saying it's an unfair advantage, and I see no reason why that would be. I mean, our other running back got 4 touchdowns, I only got none. So I don't understand why they would try to argue. I just want to play football, so I don't understand why.
Players from the Shepherd Hill football team were in the courtroom to show their support for Mensah. They say they just want him on the team for good.
We're showing support for him, and hopefully he'll be able to get in the field.
I feel like he's a brother to me, and I think he should be playing with me to be able to excel on the football field and academically.
The judge is expected to have a decision before Mensah's next game on Friday. 2 Worcester companies have been fined by the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection for waste cleanup violations. According to the DEP, a $30,000 penalty has been issued to the 2 properties at 400 and 402 Grove Street for violating state oil and hazardous material cleanup regulations. It's a 2-story commercial building and a restaurant. Authorities say the owners did not conduct necessary assessment and indoor air monitoring. The DEP says this is not the first time they have conducted an audit at the site. In April 2013, the companies failed to conduct assessment and monitoring, making sure groundwater contamination was controlled and vapors were not impacting the indoor air in the buildings. Former Massachusetts Governor William Weld will be in Worcester Thursday night for a campaign rally at the DCU Center. Weld is Gary Johnson's running mate on the Libertarian ticket this fall. Johnson served 2 terms as Republican governor of New Mexico. Meanwhile, Weld was elected 2 terms as Massachusetts governor as a Republican. The event is scheduled to start at 7 at the DCU Center. It's been more than 2 years since the Douglas fire chief asked lawmakers to pass a bill requiring carbon monoxide detectors in all Massachusetts schools. Right now, schools are still not required to have them, and the chief says he will keep fighting until they are. Our Rosalind Flaherty spoke with the chief today and has the story.
This is a call to action to protect our children.
Douglas Fire Chief Kent Vinson wants to make sure carbon monoxide detectors are required in schools across Massachusetts. Vinson has worked for 2.5 years to try to get a new law passed.
And I think it's time that we put our children as a priority and make sure that when they go to a school, they're protected.
Chief Vinson cites an incident at the Douglas Municipal Center back in 2014. 16 children and 2 adults were taken to the hospital due to carbon monoxide poisoning. The building didn't have detectors.
You send them to school and you think that they're safe.
Pamela Morissette's son Ryan was in kindergarten at the time. Ryan was one of the students treated for carbon monoxide poisoning.
Panic really set in with all of us, as parents, because you don't know, what's going on.
Morissette says she can't believe the detectors are not required in schools.
It's a life safety measure. I feel as though it's right up there with your sprinkler systems or your smoke detectors.
After the 2014 incident, Douglas schools put new detectors in all 4 of their buildings. It cost about $40,000. Douglas Public Schools Superintendent Norman Evon says cost is a factor, but it's a small price to pay to keep students and staff safe.
It's not cheap to hardwire the carbon monoxide detectors into a building, but well worth the expense for the lives that it could save.
Meantime, Chief Vinson has testified for the law on Beacon Hill and says he will keep pushing until it passes.
You can't smell carbon monoxide, it's odorless, it's tasteless, you can't see it, so it'll kill you.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
A $50,000 bail is set for a woman accused of running down a 5-year-old girl and her grandmother with an SUV. Cassandra McAuliffe was arraigned this morning in Worcester Superior Court. She's accused of hitting a young girl and the child's grandmother while chasing after her ex-boyfriend's truck. Prosecutors say she was on cocaine. The 5-year-old suffered a fractured skull in the crash. Staying in Worcester, the man accused of killing a 74-year-old man is being held without bail tonight. Albert Henderson III is accused of using a large piece of concrete to kill Hector Luis Ramos. Ramos's body was found on the railroad tracks in Worcester back in January. Henderson appeared in Worcester Superior Court earlier today for his arraignment. The Southbridge native pleaded not guilty. Police are looking for a man after an attempted robbery at this liquor store in Spencer. According to police, the suspect attempted to steal a bottle of alcohol and got into a fight with the store clerk. He took off before police arrived, running from the Price Chopper Plaza towards Main Street.